Hello everybody, so here is Black Angel again, and I'm here with a pet peeve of mine, which is about Enneagram 9. And I am thinking about this thing about Enneagram 9 because I recently watched a movie in which one character is blatantly Enneagram 9 and the other attempt to mirror it, which is ridiculous. But anyway, it's not about the movie itself and about that scene in particular, but it's rather about what an Enneagram 9 actually is and what people treat it like. So there is a generalized attitude in society that is to consider themselves, every single person considers themselves to be the most important person on planet Earth. That's a generalized attitude. If you look at Enneagram or MBTI, there is no single Enneagram or MBTI type that is actually out of this thinking pattern, except maybe INFJs and Enneagram 9, sometimes INFPs. But hey, when I'm saying INFPs, I'm really walking on eggshells here. But yeah, I have to admit that some INFPs can be Enneagram 9. Anyway, Enneagram 9s are the only type that doesn't think by that pattern. So we're talking about basically treat your neighbor as yourself. So don't harm your neighbor as much as you wouldn't harm yourself. That's how the Bible and Jesus actually put the problem, because most people, well, actually 99.9999% of people live by that standard. So they treat themselves, they use a double standard, they place themselves a step higher than everybody else, and they actually treat everybody else like shit. That's why psychology considers altruism a very, very difficult, true altruism, a very, very difficult thing to achieve. Now, all of you that are watching my video are probably considering themselves the most altruistic person on planet Earth, and they're probably considering that's the pattern. You're seeing yourself a step higher than everybody else, and you're actually not truly altruistic, and so on. Anyway, that matters this much. What I'm actually trying to say here is that Enneagram 9 actually thinks the opposite way. So an Enneagram 9 is the kind of person that needs to be told, treat yourself as you treat others. Consider yourself the same way that you consider others. Put yourself on the same level as you place others, because you're not that lower than others. That's an Enneagram 9. That's if you look into Reason Hudson, for example, you're going to see that Enneagram 9 is the nobody, is Mr. Nobody. When Enneagram 9 reaches level 4, which is the level in which they are displaying their inner attitude the most, they are basically doormats. That's the problem with Enneagram 9, that they are at the core doormats because they do not consider themselves worth as much as others. And that's because they've been taught through their lives that they're not worth as much as others. So what is my pet peeve here? My pet peeve is that I hear people out there say stuff like, oh, I'm an Enneagram 9, so you have to not to say this and that to me, because otherwise I'm gonna wrap up into myself and not talk to you anymore. That's not an Enneagram 9. That's selfish. That's self-oriented. That's imposing your opinion. That's imposing your views. An Enneagram 9, you can yell at them, call them stupid, tell them that they're worth nothing, basically clean your feet on them, and they're always going to nod and say yes and think that you have a reason to do that, and if you do that, you're probably doing that for their own good. That's an Enneagram 9. So anyone that says, I am this and that, and therefore you shouldn't do that, is likely not an Enneagram 9, or actually they're not an Enneagram 9. Because even when an Enneagram 9 starts integrating or reaches higher level of integration, an Enneagram 9 has strong difficulties actually asserting themselves. That's the issue with Enneagram 9. Enneagram 9 never asserts themselves. And even when they are starting to develop, asserting themselves is for them a matter of strong inner clashes. So they're probably going to be extremely agitated, nervous, angry, and not normal in the way they put things when they're attempting to assert themselves. And if you keep insisting sticking to your position against their position, they're going to either freak out or really literally wrap them in themselves and let you do whatever the hell it is that you want to do. Or anyway, they're going to have a very odd reaction that is going to turn their energy against themselves. So at first they may explode in your face, but then they're going to turn that energy against themselves. They're always going to say that it's their fault, that it's them being wrong, that they're in the wrong position. I'm currently helping an Enneagram 9 girl that is going through a separation. And that's the core issue of Enneagram 9, loss and separation. She has to deal with that thing. And the big problem that I'm having helping her is helping her figure out that her position actually matters. And that if she has a position of some sort, she should know why she has that position and should stick to that. That's the problem with an Enneagram 9, that they do not keep their position into account enough to assert it against others. So an Enneagram 9 is the most likely to be abused. Actually, they live a life of abuse because they allow themselves to be abused. And they allow themselves to be abused exactly because they don't think they have a right to be respected. Actually, respect is not even something that an Enneagram 9 takes into account when it refers to themselves. They are always respectful towards others, but they never respect themselves. So I really wish people that are Enneagram 4s, for example, or Enneagram 6s, stop claiming being an Enneagram 9, because an Enneagram 9 is a very specific pattern of personality with very strong issues that they do not understand. And I think it is very disrespectful towards all the Enneagram 9s out there that other types claim to be their type. And it's even worse than any other type. That's exactly because Enneagram 9s already do not respect themselves. So if you even claim being like them, you're basically doing the worst thing that there can be, in my opinion. You're pushing someone hurting themselves to hurt themselves even further. So you're basically instigating suicide if you claim being an Enneagram 9 and you're not. Whereas if you claim being an Enneagram 5 and you are not, you are claiming being intelligent, you're claiming being inquisitive, you're claiming being maybe cynical, you claim being erudite when you're not, you're going to be discovered. Because if you're not an erudite, it's going to turn out. But you're not doing anyone any harm, because these people are probably going to fight you to show you that you're not an erudite. If you claim being an Enneagram 8 and you face an Enneagram 8, you're going to see what day it is of the week. Because an Enneagram 8 is going to break your bones and let you figure out you're not an Enneagram 8. But an Enneagram 9 is going to doubt themselves, is going to wonder if they even have a right to exist. They're going to look up to you and wish they were an Enneagram 9 like you, and so on. So you're basically instigating suicide. So please stop with this bullshit of claiming being an Enneagram 9, because Enneagram 9 is a very specific thing, and they are particularly delicate in their way of being. This is everything I have about this topic. I wanted to share this, and I hope this is going to help in some way.